Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to the Dead of Summer After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Not only are we starting the entire series, we have one of the stars of the show, Amber Coney, here with us tonight to break it down, so please stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, hell yeah! Welcome to AfterBuzzz TV's After Show for Dead of Summer. We are so excited to be here. Me personally, I've been looking forward to this show for a while. I'm your host for the season, Sam Davidson, and before we introduce our very special guest, guys, I have an awesome panel here with me. Let's start with you, Renee. Introduce yourself. Let us know where we can find you on the Twitter.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
Hey guys, my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane, Karidlane.
Hey guys, my name is Amber Plaster, like the wall. You can find me on Twitter at Amber Plaster.
That's amazing.
And guys, we have Amber Coney here tonight.
Hello.
Where can we find you on social media?
At Amber Coney.
Well, this is the first time, actually, I've ever started a show. We have one of the stars of the show here,
Yay.
So it's really exciting.
Me too. I'm
and
excited.
I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I think you might be my favorite character.
Ooh. Girl. Thank you.
That's
amazing.
fan.
That's amazing.
Well, she's our character now because she's on the show.
I know. By default.
now.
There we go.
Well, listen, I would still say the same thing. That's all I have to say.
Aw.
And guys, of course, you can find me, Sam Davidson, at SamD43, Twitter and Instagram. Let's start using the hashtag ABTV Dead of Summer.
Ooh.
If you guys want to start chatting with us
Let me
about it.
abbreviate the Dead of Summer, though, too.
What do you
Those
think?
140 characters.
DOS.
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 Yeah.
DOS,
Yeah.
DOS, ABTV.
ABTV,
Hashtag.
I mean,
Hashtag.
if you guys have, you can keep it abbreviated, do the entire hashtag, but if you need more characters, let's abbreviate.
Good
Yeah.
call. Good call,
Love
Kari.
it.
Just because, 140 characters or less.
She's efficient.
Yeah.
Precious Twitter space.
You
That's
know
amazing.
What? There's
And
not a lot of space.
We're in the chat room if anybody's logging onto that, so you can chat with us. If you have any specific questions, we can throw at our guests, too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And it's one of those shows, we watched it, we absorbed it.
Yes.
And I think the questions are going to at least continue for me, probably as I go to sleep and have nightmares.
I hope not. I've been having nightmares ever since I started working on it. So. I'm such a wimp when it comes to horror. It's insane.
Oh, God, it must have been so much fun to do. I mean, you were in Vancouver. It probably was camp in itself.
Well, we're not done.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're still going.
Yeah, so I'm just here for a short engagement, and then I go back to keep filming.
Well, good to know you're
Awesome.
still alive.
Yes.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
So going around the table here, what did we think of the first episode of this really fun series?
I loved it. I thought it was it's the perfect balance of the kind of realistic actual serial killer scary, and then we have the zombie ghost portion, which I love, and I think it's such a good balance. It's just fun, it's great to watch, it keeps you on your toes, and it's so suspenseful.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I was super happy that it's actually a supernatural show and it's not just kidding, Scooby-Doo reveal who it is and whatever. It's oh no, there's some weird stuff going down. And it just kept you engaged and you're just what are these other motives? What else is going on? And just peel back the layers.
Right.
Loved it.
Soundtrack is on point.
Yeah.
Characters are on point.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Wow.
I am too. At first I was, I'm overwhelmed. There's so many characters I'm being introduced to. But each of them is different in their own way, and I like all the actors, honestly.
Cool.
I think
So do
everyone's
I.
pretty good. Yeah. Are they good peeps?
Yeah, they're amazing. We get along really well. It was incredible to just meet people who are very humble and committed to the craft. Honestly, that was the most gratifying aspect of it.
Well, I will say it was one of those shows that I could tell you guys were having fun.
Right. I mean, that's important in an ensemble show, to get along with all the actors on a personal level and to have that dynamic that translates onto screen. I think that's invaluable.
Yeah.
So, and it's difficult to achieve, and really it only comes, you can't create that. That's something that happens so organically, and thankfully when we met each other, we're oh yeah, we actually do really like each other. So I think it's just made the experience all the more, wonderful for each one of us.
Well, I can't wait to see how it all unfolds with you
Yeah.
guys.
Me either. I honestly don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. And I've only read a certain amount of episodes because we're still in the middle of shooting. So I still don't know, like, what the secrets are in their full capacity or what truly is going on. And also I try to so I read all the episodes and then I try to like focus on what my character is actually privy to.
Yeah.
So some things I actually block out in terms of like plot and like I don't try to theorize because I don't want to theorize as Cricket.
That's good.
You know, well, I'm theorizing as Cricket, but I don't want to know,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
what
she
I
would
know
know.
beyond what I would know as Cricket. So
No, that's smart.
yeah, it's interesting.
Got to stay present. Got to stay scared.
Yeah. I mean, that's very easy for me, as I was explaining to you guys earlier.
How was the 80s aspect of it? A lot of people are all talking about like they were you don't really know from the poster and the trailer that's set in
That
the
it's
80s.
89, yeah.
How was that experience?
It was amazing. I mean, I think the thing that got the cast into it primarily is the music. And I mean, people probably thought it was very strange, but on the first meeting and the first read through, like I was blasting Michael Jackson on my Spotify, like
That's
just
perfect.
David Bowie.
Nice,
Yeah, so I was like, the DJ of the cast for quite a while, and then I got Spotify Premium, and I could choose whatever song I wanted. So the music kind of brought us all together, and then I actually hosted a bunch of screenings at my hotel apartment during the pilot as well. So we watched a ton of 80s films. We watched Breakfast Club, The Fly, and like River's Edge, just to get into it and to kind of see what the feel of the era is. So I think like on the outside, we were really trying to do our part in researching by kind of immersing ourselves. And obviously, like, when we got to set and when we got engaged in the material through the work, all the other components were taken care of in terms of aesthetic with the costume and the production design. And the thing that I think most stands out is that, even though it's set in 1989 and that's the feel of the show and that's, obviously the era that we're emulating and immersing ourselves in, the teens are, the young adults are young adults that can translate across all generations, So it's amazing that it's set in this era and that older generations will be able to relate to that in that capacity, but also the younger generations are going to see like, wow, these people are just like me. It doesn't really matter what time period it's set in, they're struggling with the same things that we're struggling with now,
Absolutely, and
So.
there's a lot of different characters that I think are going to reflect what's going on now, what was happening then.
I hope so, yeah.
Speaking of older generations, though, I want to talk about this man at the beginning of the whole damn thing. I
Right.
mean, I was scared and confused. But what I realized, so he's this man playing the piano, and then there's all these empty chairs.
Yeah.
And then there's the bodies floating.
yes.
Yeah.
So those bodies are supposed to represent those empty chairs, is what I kind of got from that. And it was 1871. That is the year that this all started. That was the flashback. I don't know how I caught that, but I caught it
That's
somehow.
amazing.
They have the little, that didn't say it very long, but the.
Yeah.
Yeah, there she goes.
She's
though.
like, she's not amazing. I even saw that.
I'm impressed.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. But sometimes if you're watching and you're just so absorbed in what's happening, because that scene was so weird,
Right.
you could miss like, oh wait, where were we? What time is this? And like,
Yeah.
you won't. It jumps around.
Yeah. There's a lot that
Because
you
he
can
was
miss.
creepy.
Yeah.
Well, he's not the creepiest guy on the show.
No.
I
He's
will
Not the
say that.
creepiest guy in the show.
Candyman, someone pointed out.
Yep.
How did, like,
amazing.
for you guys, the tone of the show being set in this way, like, did it confuse you? Did it set something that's going to be present for the rest of the show? Like, I thought it was a very strong way to start the series.
I agree. I agree. It already like started off with some mystery, and we want to know more. And then I love that they did the time jump right away.
Yes.
So we just got enough where we're like, well, what's gonna happen? Then the camp's reopened. Ooh, and we know it already has a creepy start.
It's nice with horror stuff to be like, here is the origin of this mythology and where the horror started. Like how did this legend and how did this haunting start? And be like, here we go. This is what started it. We don't really know the details yet, but it's a nice like lead in.
Yeah. I really like the slow burn on Cricket's character, and I don't know the name of the character, but I'm calling the character Hare.
Which one?
Oh, Zelda's character?
Yeah.
True.
Drew. Yeah. I like the whole time we were watching it, we were like, what if this character is actually a girl? And then it was a girl. We were excited. And then the show was over. And we were like,
That was the big reveal. We had to keep that so under wraps. It was intense. We couldn't post any photos of Zelda in character. I mean, they ended up doing it, and we're like, okay. Spoiler alert! If anyone was like more, attuned to that, but yeah, it was a very much payoff in that ending sequence with the kind of montage of all the characters.
are you able to say is she a girl, or does she identify as trans?
I want you guys to see her Zelda's episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright, cool.
Which is episode 4. So
Okay.
yeah.
So we discussed this a little bit before the show started, but you said that you had your episode.
Right.
So does each character have their own episode for the rest?
Yes.
So the first episode is like everybody.
Well, it's Amy's.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Amy's.
So in the way it's structured is
So cool.
yeah, so there's
I
the
love
flashback
that.
sequences and then, the present day 1989. So you see what's going on in Amy's life prior to Camp Stillwater. And then episode 2 is Alex, Ronan's character. Episode 3 is my character, which I hope everyone tunes into.
Of course.
So yeah, it's cool in that way. Like you really get to understand where these people are coming from prior to coming to the camp and reuniting for the first time.
It's very lost.
Yeah.
Very Orange
I
is
mean,
the
I
New
wonder
Black.
why. yeah, that too, right? Yeah.
I love that aspect to the show.
Yeah.
It's great, just like learning about these characters in a subtle way, but like it's so nice. You feel
Right.
like even more, and
Right.
you get to know them so easily. I
Right.
love it.
But I like that you point out the subtlety because there are so many cliffhangers that, are obviously present in episode 1. And like what I was saying before the episode air was just like pay attention because, you can kind of see little inklings of what you might discover about the characters later through the first episode and kind of, the nuances that you see the actors doing and you see, how they're engaging in their character in these subtle ways. You'll kind of like discover where that's, what the roots of those behaviors or personality traits are in the flashback episodes. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, or you might just see ghosts if you pay attention.
I mean, you don't even have to be paying attention to see the supernatural
Yeah.
element.
Oh God, that really scared me a little bit.
I can't believe you're like
I know.
really freaked out because I am such a maybe just because I might be jaded because I'm shooting this and so I have like insider knowledge, but it's good that you actually got the
There we go. Who on the panel is
jumpy.
like spooked by the show? So
Me.
You are okay, good. Because I feel like most people are so jaded, like they're all watching The Conjuring too, and whatever.
Not jaded. We're just horror enthusiasts, so we're excited.
Okay, good.
Instead of scared, we're
Good.
just like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Oh, good. I'm
was,
glad. I'm
yeah.
glad you guys got freaked out.
No.
I was telling Amber that I'm actually most afraid of the inanimate objects on the show. The scary tetherball,
Yeah.
and the scary
tire.
tire swing, and the scary hanging racks behind the girl. And
I'm afraid of the tether ball. Actually, that is the one that freaked me out.
Why?
Because someone was playing with it that was not there, and that scares the hell out of me.
Hashtag scary inanimate objects.
Well, all right. Talking about scary, let's talk about Dave the gardener.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Right?
Well, he doesn't make it, and
Good, because he was not a welcome character for me.
Spoiler.
spoiler alert, didn't make it, but him and Deb seem to be the ones that we know at this point. Actually, no, the older sheriff deputy guy. He, I think, knows some things. Those three are the only ones that seem to know anything. And when Amy was running through the woods and all of that,
And Townie.
well, that is a whole other
Townie.
thing.
I'm calling them all by their nicknames now.
I love
I
that.
call him like Hot Townie.
Townie. Oh, I did write down Hot Townie. I did. I wrote it down. And braces.
I think someone tweeted, they were like, oh no, the deputy's in danger. Oh wait, he's too hot to die.
Hashtag too hot to die.
Yes. I like that. That's a good hashtag.
That's good. That's good for that actor. Love that.
So that means you'll stick around for a while.
I don't know. We'll
Yes.
see. I mean, he's amazing artistically as well, so you never know.
Yeah.
They might kill him off. Who knows?
Well, so this character of Dave is fascinating though because it comes off very creepy at first,
right.
but he warns Amy, you know, and I knew when he did it. I was
Warn
like,
or scare?
I was like, he's scaring her, but he's warning her.
Right.
He didn't probably mean to freak her out so much.
Well, who knows?
Really? He creeped up behind her in the dark and he didn't mean to scare her.
He has no social skills.
Okay, well, good question, guys. Do you think he died because Amy warned him? Amy said he warned her.
Yes. I think so.
you-
Because,
wait.
I mean, they wouldn't have, I don't think they wouldn't have, would have done
That's
that.
interesting. Who asked that?
I think that
On YouTube, on the YouTube chat, that was a really good question.
what
Good
I felt was
question.
weird is that he warned her, and then Amy was like, let's talk about this with the group and talk about how creepy Dave warned me in the middle of the night in the woods. And then Deborah heard that, and then he came up dead. Just saying.
Yeah.
Weird.
Good. I like it.
Oh my God, you guys.
The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning.
I agree. That's very suspicious.
I don't. Sorry, I know we're gonna get into Deb, but Deb just that character. I don't know about her.
Well, let's talk about her because I mean I know her from Lost very
I
well.
love
Elizabeth,
her. The actress
yes.
I love.
Yeah.
But
She's
this
incredible.
character, don't like her.
Oh, she's so weird.
She's very
so
similar
weird.
to me to the character on Lost.
Well, except the interesting sexuality thing threw me off.
Yeah,
Let me be in my bra in the window.
yeah.
And then she's like, "Hey, baby," and like giving him eyes, like, "Hey."
We're talking about
and then
Joel, yeah.
The later, she's like in normal clothes, kind of in the window, and he's looking again, and he's kind of like, "I'm ready this time," and she like shuts the blinds, and you're like, "Whoa,
I enjoyed that.
hot and cold."
The first time was by chance. It's like, oh, like
She
ooh,
stared
No,
at
she
him.
stood there.
She's like,
yes, no, she accepted it. But the second time, imagine like looking out the window and seeing someone recording you in the dark. Even though it happened once, does not mean it should happen again. And he's recording her this time, and he's expecting something. I don't know. I get it, but I mean, in a sense, maybe she led him on because of the first time, but didn't have any other interaction after that.
Now you're
no,
playing
no.
devil's advocate for her. This is interesting.
"Both. I feel both."
I don't know. I don't love her as a person just because she weirds me out and I get bad vibes from her. But at the same time, like, why would you think that that's okay to bring your video camera and tape her until she comes to the window? That's creepy.
I think she's in more control than she lets on, and I think she's toying with him. And I predict that she'd burn down the shed.
I predict she's a ghost. I'm like kind of kidding, honestly.
I know I've heard this theory before. It's so interesting.
Ooh.
Go into it.
Yeah, okay.
Go for it.
Really? So
Yeah.
I'm like not
Yeah.
total.
I love
Ooh.
theories. I love the theories.
So I think perhaps, you know, she's the one that brought this back from the dead, the camp,
Okay.
per se. And I mean, yes, we see all the counselors see her,
Right.
but obviously she's more tied to everything and knows things.
Yeah.
But I almost felt as though it wasn't her staring back at Joel
Oh,
when he saw her and was videotaping her.
the first or the second time?
The first time. And then
Okay.
the second time, that's why she was like, ew, gross.
Oh, do you think she was possessed?
Oh, okay. This is making yes, I do. I do think
Possessed?
That's it. Yep, I think she might be possessed.
And do you think maybe she was connected to the previous 1800s thing? That's another theory that came up.
I don't know. Yeah, I probably in some way, but I'm not sure. I really need to see more.
That connection's not clear to me. If that actually that whole like flashback from the ritual, that connection is not clear to me. Besides like
The location.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I did write down in the early '90s and like the late '80s, there was a huge fear of like satanic worship.
Satanism?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
like,
what in my campfire story I'm talking about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people like lost their minds over their kids like listening to rock music, and they were like, if you play those Dungeons and Dragons,
Right.
you're gonna go to hell.
My parents showed me a weird documentary about rock and roll and like how it was linked to Satan. They freaked me out, so I had very real roots to grasp on. too, in terms of
So like
that.
maybe that's the link is the fear of Satanism going to I don't know.
Sure. Well, it's set in the 80s. Actually, sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
The campfire. Is there a reason you hold your magazine? I thought it was funny, and then I'm wondering if it's going to hint at something later.
Why hold it like?
Yeah.
In front
Just
of your
because the
face.
magazine, there's two different parts, and your character's holding it up really high, and I'm like, well, that's very convenient later if something's going to be weird, and you drop it, and then, like, I don't know what, but was there a reason for that? Or
I mean, just my, intense engagement
Okay.
in whatever I was reading, which is accurate. Actually, reading
Sure.
the story
All
about
right.
Yeah.
it was. They actually got the Rolling Stones magazine from
cool.
in the article that
that's
I'm
cool.
talking about in the campfire. Yeah, so it's really
Oh,
cool.
Dig
so it's
it.
real.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
Yes.
let's talk about Cricket. First
Okay.
of all, how do you like playing someone named Cricket? How awesome is that?
I love that. I wish I was named Cricket.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's so cute. I really want to be called that. I know I shouldn't, you
Well,
know,
you will be. I was
be careful what I wish for. So, yeah, but I love that name, and I think it's, you know, so cute and clever. And yeah, I love playing this role. It's amazing.
And she is not a mean girl. Doesn't
Right.
seem like.
Right.
You know, Amy comes in, she's a new girl. Amy seems to have a past of being judged and bullied when first meeting her. And you're one of the people that actually is like, hey, come on in.
Right.
Join us.
I think I know what it feels like to maybe, you know, have people not accept me right away. You
I
know?
disagree. I think she's very mean
Really?
to herself.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's
And
true.
I would love to ask you about that.
Expand.
Because okay, so there was a moment at the lake when everyone's jumping in, and we pan to, you know, your character Cricket, and you're totally like this gorgeous girl at the beach, and then you're like, I just can't get naked in front of these people right now, and like we've all, I think, as women, been there at that moment, and I was just like, relate to that so hard.
Amen.
And like, so first of all, I was like, oh, okay, she's real. And then later, we see not only the slut shaming on the wall, we see it reveal that it is Cricket writing these nasty rumors about herself on the wall.
Are you Regina Georging yourself?
So what is happening there?
That's what she does. I mean,
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
What was that book called?
Burn book.
The
Burn
book. You're
I'm
creating a burn
I'm
book.
burn booking myself. I don't know. We'll have to see. You guys have to tune into episode 3 because everything's gonna be revealed.
Ooh.
But yeah, there's definitely obviously some, you know, really underlying insecurity and issues that are going on there. And I think the reason why I come off as a nice girl and someone who doesn't necessarily ice, you know, really a competitor right away in terms of she's getting attention from Alex. I don't ice her because I have something else going on that is stopping me from that. And you know, it's not coming from a place of, if I had the total confidence, I might just reject Amy flat and maybe act like Jessie would towards her, you know?
Jessie.
Jessie.
That
That's my
girl.
roommate in Vancouver. I love her. She's amazing.
I think that Cricket perhaps sees something bad that happened to her happening to Amy. And I think I'm probably wrong, but part of me thought that maybe at one point Cricket was taken advantage of by Alex. And
She's doing such a great poker face. If anybody who's just listening,
I really like
Great poker
hearing
face.
what you guys are thinking, honestly. I'm like, that's
this is
interesting.
I'm actually really into this.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I'm really not into the stuff that I do here, the shows that I cover, but I'm
Right.
fascinated and I like want to know.
Right. Well, I, like you said, as women, I think talking about Cricket is so important because there are those layers that are going on, and
Yeah.
the reason why I love playing this part is because I'm exploring that insecurity that we all have and that everyone has experienced. And I mean, I can't give away where it comes from at this moment, but it's so exciting to me to be able to start a conversation about people who are dealing with that in the present day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when
think a lot
she
of
had a
people
hard time
yeah.
taking her skirt off at the lake, I thought that she's definitely been, like, you know, either raped or, like, taken and molested or something like that. She's having some issue
Right.
with her self-esteem and her sexuality.
Body image, yeah.
Body image.
Yeah, yeah.
I took it as body image.
Yeah.
I went body image. I think your theory is interesting. I wouldn't discard it. But the moment
Discarding.
No. But when she sees her friend who got hot
Right.
after a while,
Right.
I think it's more the internalized, because her best friend
You're right.
after they've been apart is skinny,
right.
super nobody
confident.
recognized her, super confident, overly confident.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, maybe she's stayed the same,
Right.
maybe put on a few pounds and doesn't like where it sits.
You'll see.
Yeah, we'll
You'll
find
see.
out.
I think sexuality, though, is an inherent part of it because, those thoughts stem from in Cricket's case, because, she's after Alex from a male lens because she's looking at herself through what guys might perceive her as,
Yeah.
So I think that the body image and sexuality are inherently linked in that regard.
Well, as is basically any girl at. How old is your character? Exactly?
Well, I just graduated high school.
And that's most of the counselors, right?
Yes.
They just
So like Jessie
graduated.
had already had a year of college. That's why I'm like, how's college? You know, 'cause-
Right,
so she's a little older, but
So it's 18, 19 years old.
yeah.
Gosh, I would say any woman under the age of 22 still gets their worth from the way that men view them. I think, at least in a small part.
I'd say
Right.
plus longer too, depending on how you can work it. Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as because women too, like if you take advantage of knowing they look at you that way, and like there's the part where Cricket's all cuddling up on the couch trying to
Yeah.
be like, "Hey," and he does
Right.
not care.
Right. Which is so
It's like
heartbreaking.
womp womp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he takes it for granted.
Yeah, is it more which we'll find out later, but is it kind of the best friend, like, I've just seen you for so long, you're like my kid sister, but then again, they do think the other girl's
For
pretty, so.
Alex, Alex is. I mean, I think you guys saw he's into Amy.
Yeah.
You know, so
That
it's
too,
kind of
and
like,
the new
Well,
person. It's
Right.
It's new meat.
Right,
I
right.
also think that it's new meat, and he seems like I don't know if I like him or not because it's really. It's really easy to stereotype the jock douche, whatever, the hot guy.
It's easy to villainize him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because a lot of times in TV shows they're one thing or the other.
Yeah.
It's like they're the sweet guy that doesn't seem sweet, and he's gonna save the day, or he's a douche.
right.
Now, at the end, he's the one pulling tags off the clothes, right? Someone pointed out, like, speaking of that character having layers or not, is he pretending to be rich and he's stolen people's clothes? Are
That's what
these
I thought.
clothes
This is
stolen from a
episode
store?
2.
And I didn't notice that until someone said that in chat too, because I
didn't
hadn't thought
notice
of that way.
Yeah,
I noticed
I
he
didn't
pulled the
either.
tags off, but I didn't even think, like, oh, wait, he stole.
I thought
Did
he was
you
just
get that?
particular
I
about
didn't
his
get
clothing.
that.
I
I
don't
was
know.
like, what's he doing? Yeah, but that does make more sense.
Yeah, because so maybe he's not as badass as he tries to be.
Oh, it's something I think having to do with money or pretending
Yeah.
to be somebody he's not. So, I think that we will feel a soft side for him. I want to talk about some of Amy's flashbacks because I
really
loved, oh God, they were really good. And at one point,
Cool.
I did forget that it was the 80s, and I was like, are they going to an 80s
Were
party?
you like, that's what my friend said. She's like, oh my God, the hair. It's so intense. I was like, it's in the 80s. She's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Forgot for a second.
Yeah, that's what I thought, when Margot's mom walked in, and she was
Right.
like, oh my God. I mean,
Oh,
obviously
interesting.
they were going out,
Yeah.
but for me, I was like, oh, she knows they're going to a theme party.
That's amazing. I want to go to a theme party now.
I know, reminds me of college.
I think the show did a good job of hinting at the era, like that they're all like very like they're clothes that you could have worn in the 80s,
Right.
but they're not like.
But it's not too
neon
blatant.
It's not
and
cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's realistic.
It's
that we go,
realistic. Yeah. I
Okay.
like it.
Right, right. It's not
It's
supposed to
not-
be, hitting you on the head.
Spandex,
with-
neon, crazy.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would have loved to wear a leotard. But
Well, you still have more episodes.
Yeah, there's opportunity.
You're like, I'm a ghost in a leotard. Like, well, we learn a lot about Amy, who, seems to be kind of this, because when you start a new show, either it's a slice of life show, which is just kind of going into their lives,
Right.
or it's a new story following somebody coming into a new situation, which seems like that's what Amy is doing. So even though we're going to be getting different characters every episode, I think I have the feeling it's still going to be kind of through Amy's eyes in a way. I might be wrong, perhaps, but
That's a good question.
I feel like this is, I guess, my prediction about it. With Amy's theme, I guess, with her flashbacks, was that the whole point of going to the summer camp is you can be whoever you want to be. And I feel like that's going to be an ongoing theme with the other characters, whereas they want to come to this camp and be their true selves or who they really want to be. So we'll learn their struggles and how they got to where they are now and why they want to be at this summer camp.
Well, that's the magic of summer camp, because like you could
True.
just show up
You be
and
whoever
nobody would know who you were.
Because it's not like real life. It's your escape for the summer. It's the perfect time to be who you want and kind of create this image for yourself at that time, because these people only know you like during these few weeks at camp.
right.
well, you're just like, yeah.
Well, the show had me confused. It had me totally thinking that Amy was the lead character. I was like, oh, here's our heroine. We're going to follow her around. And then after you guys brought up the point that there's going to be different peelbacks on these characters and different flashbacks, I was like, oh no, actually, this is a completely beautifully written ensemble cast.
I think it verges more on the side of that.
Yeah.
But you guys can be the judge. I mean, I'll be curious
It's
to see what you
exciting.
think. But
Yeah.
Well, there's this theme, there was a movie called The Final Girl last year, and it's this Final Girl thing, or like Survivor Girl on Scream. They call it that on MTV. Like, she's a Survivor Girl, so awkward. Like, she just doesn't die. So, I don't know. I kind of feel it, but I actually really enjoy Amy's character and seeing what she has been through with Margot,
Right.
who I'm assuming that is the... we see a couple times Amy get very scared by a ghost or a figure, and
Or
it looks
boys.
like Margot, though. The figure does, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she thinks Margot's haunting her, potentially. I don't... And I think also, though, we saw the scene... So you could maybe explain this for me, because I know it's not going to be giving anything away. The woman that's taking Amy in the flashback at the beginning of the episode to school or something, is that her mother, her grandmother?
I can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's another.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, and I don't even like I told you, I don't know.
Well, like,
yet.
okay.
for
Yeah.
a role model to be like, fit in, don't mess this up
I would be
again.
horrified if my mother.
Like, calm down.
If it is her mother, I'm like, that's really messed up.
Like, I want to go to summer camp too. Let me do what I want.
Right.
You know what,
Same.
though? I don't know if you guys were raised in a very Christian household, but some of us has very strict parents, and some people really do talk that way of you need to dress for Christ, and you need to fit in, and whatever. And I think especially in the 80s, where there wasn't TV shows like this that were like, hey, maybe that's kind of mean, I bet her parents really were that strict, especially Margot's mom, who's like,
Oh, I'm sure they were that
Or-
strict. I just think for a role, like to have, I guess just that introduction was very cold, and we didn't see any loving side. It was very
Right.
much just like, you're not adequate, be this instead.
yeah.
So that's not the I guess the loving parent and or grandparent that would create a well-balanced child that's comfortable with being who she is.
Or shit has gone down in her past and it's a guardian. It's not actually someone who's in her family.
Bum, bum, bum.
Because they're like, this time. So something's happened before.
Well, I did
So.
see something in the chat that they just really want Amy to say, I see dead people.
Don't we all?
So, I wish. No, I don't wish. Please don't come and find me. I'm not into that. No, but I think that Amy definitely, like, even before the Margot thing happened, perhaps has an affinity for, like, seeing things that aren't
Yes,
there
I
to
thought
the
that
eye.
too.
Interesting.
I thought she kind of had a clairvoyance kind of something in tune with what's going on.
Yeah, well, and then there was that scene with Joel when he's taping Amy, and you see the guy behind her.
Yep.
And I had to rewind it, and I was like, "There's a guy. There's a guy."
It's the piano man. It's the piano man guy.
Yeah.
Yes, and yep, it was the Piano Man guy. So that was insane. A little bit about Amy and Deputy Derek. We need to think of a
Garrett.
ship for them or something.
Garrett.
Garrett?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, that was in the chat too. People are like, what's his name?
I'm
Garrett.
like
Garrett
Garrett.
Sykes.
There's so
Gamey.
many. There's so many. Okay.
Amy.
It's the first episode.
I love that.
You know, we're all learning everybody's
Everyone's
name.
trying to ship. I live tweeted the East Coast premiere, and everyone is shipping already.
I mean, listen.
They're shipping me and Jesse, like
Ooh.
Jesse,
Oh.
Lena,
Maybe.
Jessina. I think that was.
Wow.
You've told us so much in that one thing because now I think I might understand you.
Why?
Because maybe you're trying to pretend you're a slut because you're actually like girls.
Who knows?
That's what somebody asked in the chat too. Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, there is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of
So
sexual
amazing.
tension.
Right.
A lot of
Well,
love
yeah, but also
triangles.
I'm clearly pursuing someone
Yeah.
in particular.
Maybe because you think you're supposed to.
Okay.
Well, it's
Fair,
also camp,
fair.
and we all know, hence,
also camp.
you know, Derek.
Hormones.
Garrett. Oh,
Garrett.
goodness, Garrett. Do you want to know what? You guys, I dated a guy naed Garrett a few months ago, and I think I just, like, can't say that
Can't.
word.
You have mentally blocked.
Yeah, because it's like
no.
saying Macbeth at the theater or something. I'm
It's just not
like,
happening.
A
Not
little
bad, huh?
scared.
Bad luck.
So, guys, if
The
I
deputy.
continue-
Call him the deputy.
Yeah, I apologize if I continue to not call him Garrett. The deputy, he, I think he seems like he has his heart in the right place, right? Or
Yeah.
not
Who? Okay, why is he like walking around in the middle of the night in the woods?
Because
That's
he's
not.
looking things.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Follow
Garrett.
me down this secret path
He's
too.
creepy. That's not.
I love
normal.
that you guys don't trust anyone. That
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
It's a horror show. You can't trust
We watch
anybody.
a show like this. You can't trust anyone.
No.
Especially the characters who, again, you run into in the middle of the woods
the
at night.
woods.
That's not like I would never run into any of you guys at night because none of you are murderers. Unlike possibly Garrett.
Do you trust Cricket?
Yeah.
I do. I do
You do?
trust her.
Okay.
But we don't
I
know
do.
you
Get
that
it one.
well yet.
Okay.
We don't know.
I think that Cricket is her own worst enemy, and she needs to be worried about herself as opposed to other people.
I love that. I love everything you're saying.
Heard.
You have such amazing ideas.
Well, I probably will like watch this again when I go home and have freaking nightmares.
Yeah.
I'm just like a glutton for punishment.
Or different
here.
theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I'm gonna keep on doing it. I'm gonna keep on I'm gonna be texting and tweeting and being like, guys, this, and they'll be like, please stop. I'm sleeping.
All our phones are gonna be like ding, notification, ding.
Tweet
love
us your
that.
theories. For
I
sure.
changed my mind.
Yeah, tweet the theories. It's
Well, okay,
interesting.
we also, obviously, there's Drew, who you guys, I saw these two ladies
Obsessed.
next to me watch
amazing.
the reveal.
Zelda is.
I knew.
Totally called it.
Yeah, I knew
Good.
that.
As soon
Good.
as we saw that character, I was
Good.
all, it's a girl. As soon as you
Did
didn't
you
see
know
their
it
face-
was played by a female actor?
No, I didn't know anything about the characters or
Okay.
anything like that. I'm just
Okay.
watching and it says like, okay, Amy, supernatural stuff followers. Drew is a girl. These are my notes. I was just like, as soon as you didn't see the face and the posture, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I didn't figure it out that fast.
Well, I just met these two tonight, and I was creeping on them, watching them watch that scene.
You guys seem like you've been friends for a while.
We bonded over.
Over Dead of Summer, as you should.
I said, I was like, you know that's Robin Williams' daughter, right? And they were like, what? Oh, that is a girl.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But she seems like she's going to be an absolutely fascinating character.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
I
Drew,
haven't
right?
seen.
That's the character
I
name?
haven't seen Zelda's episode yet, but I know it's just gonna be mind blowing. She's
yeah.
she's
Yeah,
an incredible
imagine.
artist.
It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Also, as we said, Cricket, slut, you did that to yourself, which I'm assuming was you also did about the 13-year-old Handy.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I don't know if it's self-perpetuated or truth. So you'll have to find out.
Ooh.
I think that's interesting though, because I definitely had friends like that in high school that would be
How?
that mean to themselves and like write notes on the wall like,
Would they?
this girl is a slut.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and they would try to create drama around it
Right.
for attention.
I mean, if you're doing that in that regard, it's kind of to create
Is it
a myth.
is
you
it a
know?
cry for help? Is it
Right.
a cry for attention?
Right.
What is it?
Or do you want someone to see that and sleep with you?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they covered it because I was
Right.
like, that's real for
Right.
my high school experience. Not for me
Right.
personally, but yeah.
And I think it transcends it transcends any sexual orientation as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that we've been talking about the male lens, but I think that no matter what your sexuality, like you're always viewing yourself from what the other might see you as.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
So that's really interesting to me.
One
to
of the things
consider.
I really loved about this pilot is that we tend to think and the late 80s were not that long ago. That's when most of us were born. But people tend to think, especially kids in high school now, like, oh, it was so different then. People weren't mean to each other then. People weren't hard on themselves then. But, like, they were. Everything, things changed, trends changed.
It's just different.
But people's relationships and the way they treat themselves, especially girls, are still the same.
Yeah. It can be. I think nowadays, in a way, it's easier because we can feel like we're not alone through kind of our global connection with technology. If we choose to, if we choose to reach out and to see and to have compassion for ourselves and other people by being vocal about our struggles, I think a lot of people maybe in the 80s did feel very alone with their interpersonal issues because they didn't have that lens into the world that we have through social media and through just like the larger conversation we have
Easy
through
cell
technology.
phone away if you're
Right.
in trouble or
Right,
whatever.
right. I mean, I think that's the beauty of our, World Wide Web and of our of our technology.
Yeah, it lets you know you're not alone, because then you find other people, which you probably wouldn't be able to find if you're in your own little small town. And the internet's like, no, really, there's other people like me out there.
Which
And
there
you can
always
connect to them.
are. There always are. You know?
Which I think each of these characters, it's such a good time to kind of talk about these characters, because internet didn't really start, you know, like it wasn't that far after late 80s, but at that point they didn't have these connections with people, the communication. So I think it's going to be really fun, and I love that we know now that each episode is exploring the different, you know, the ins and outs of each character. So that's really exciting.
Love that.
And
Super
we can
excited for
explore
that.
things that, you know, would have been taboo, you know,
Yeah.
so
And
I'm
now
excited
it's
for that
normal.
possibility.
Yeah.
Right, because the conversations have been opened.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Absolutely.
And that would have been explored at camp,
Yeah.
so it works.
Right.
Well, guys, on that note, I'm gonna continue to come up with predictions, but let's start with you, Renee.
Oh gosh, predictions. I think that Deborah is going to get shadier and shadier as the season goes on. I don't trust that woman. However, because so soon in the first episode, I don't know, just like the things she does, I think I automatically want to be like, well, she's a villain of some sort, but it makes it seem like an easy choice, so I don't know about that, but I do think she's going to continue to get shady. And I also think that it's going to be a love triangle between Amy, Garrett, and Braces, aka Jessie, because Jessie's back and she's like, hey, I'm Braces, don't you remember me? How dare he I don't care if she looks a little different, like, how do you remember her? Garrett, typical guy move, but yeah, so those are my predictions.
That was rude. I will say.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I would hope she looked completely different.
Yeah, I want to see an old picture.
I know. I want to know what her old one is like.
Maybe
must have been a monster.
I mean, maybe he's just very scatterbrained at the moment because of everything that's going on.
That too.
okay.
And it was
You
at
know?
night. You know, maybe it's
Yeah.
a little dark. Ooh, predictions. I agree. I think the camp director is, I don't trust her. But then again, I had a moment that I'm like, wait, what if she's actually trying to solve this cycle? And the box that she had is part of because it's like, what's in the box? Is part of like trying to break this evil cycle of what's going on. And I think she genuinely does love the camp and want to do that. But she is suspicious as all get out. So it's like, I don't know. And then Townie, do I trust him or not? I'm both. I'm really like, if something bad happens, I won't be surprised. If something good happens, I'll be like, oh, good, that's what I wanted.
You're like, that's what I said.
Yes. And then relationships, I don't really know yet. We'll see. We'll see where they go.
I'll start a Google Doc for ships, and you can join or not. I'll probably be on my
I didn't
own.
know this was such a big thing until I discovered Twitter. I just got on Twitter.
Shipping is a sport, girl. Get on board.
It
Well, it's
is.
summer camp. Aren't they going to have an orgy? No.
Whoa. Where are you in the writer's room?
What camp
That
did you go
wasn't your
to?
summer camp? No.
If it was showtime, maybe.
I was at theater camps.
That's the horniest.
Well, that's American Pie. Band camp. Come on. One time at band camp.
I want to know what your camp experience was like.
Actually, that is a great question. Did you ever go to summer camp?
Yeah, I went to theater camp.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
like
I also
as
went
a
to
kid?
Christian camp.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, but
Were
I
they
did.
summer ones or like week ones?
They were summer.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, I think the Christian one was a week long, and then the
Cool.
plays were the whole
Nice.
summer. So.
I actually did go to a theater camp, but I went to a Jewish camp, which is where they say they're like, oh, that's where kids lose their virginity is Jewish camp.
Oh.
And it's kind of true. Jewish camp, like, there's not, everyone's, you know, the rabbis are just like, just be yourself. And it's, you know, a lot of,
Wow.
A safe place to get
Self-discovery.
acquainted, I guess.
Yeah.
all right, what are your predictions, Amber?
Okay, so my predictions are for Townie Garrett, that he is not good or bad, that he is a pawn.
Ooh.
That is my
I like
prediction.
it.
I think he will be bad when he's controlled by bad people, and I think he'll be helpful when he's controlled by good people. I think he is not in control. I think that Drew is a very fascinating character, and I would like to call the prediction that Drew is going to be a trans boy, as in somebody born a female wanting to be, feeling like they were needing to be born a boy, pre-testosterone, trans boy. I think that she wants to identify as male, or I guess she could just be identify as gender queer or bi or something, but I don't think that's it. I think it's something more, because not only does she hide her body and hide where she showers, but her fear is of a little girl. And I think she's scared of either her past of being a little girl or of being a little girl in a dress.
That's a really good theory.
I think as far as Deb is concerned, I'm just going to call her
This
Deb.
is focusing on Deb a lot.
Debbie.
You guys are very...
Because she's the heart. Like, she's the heart
Right,
of this.
right.
I think that she doesn't want the kids, the counselors, to die and, like, wants to protect them and protect Amy. But I think that there's a reason, like, she wants to resurrect someone or something from the camp.
Interesting.
And that's why she's starting it again, because she, like, doesn't want people to die again, but she wants this person or this, some entity of something back.
Memory or...
It's magic. Maybe it's magic. I don't know, guys.
They're all going to be a sacrifice.
Oh,
Whoa.
God.
Was that something
That's a
someone
bizarre-
said or
no.
something?
No, she just said to resurrect somebody. I'm like, wait, you got a group of young kids, you got a new sacrifice.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And why has it been
We
closed
do
for
talk
5
about the
years,
Wicker
you know?
Man.
That is true. That was an interesting. That was a very interesting moment.
There's some homages that...
Well, I know that you can't give much away or give predictions, but
Right.
if you were to tell all of the fans out here a kind of teaser for the rest of the season to have them keep on watching, like, what would you say people should look forward to?
I would just say, as I said, don't trust anyone or anything that you believe in the first episode, because everything is much more complex than I think we all let on.
Good.
Oh my gosh. What?
I feel like Amy killed her friend on purpose.
Whoa. Girl.
I don't know, guys. This is going to be insane. I cannot wait. I know actually on the Freeform app now you can watch a second episode, and I think I might just do that
Yeah,
later.
I'm so doing that
So
later.
you guys maybe would want to do that too. One more roundup, guys. Where can everyone find you on social media?
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Renee Ariel.
And my name's Kari Lane. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D Lane. And thank you so much for the chat, guys. It was super fun.
My name is Amber Plaster. You can find me on Twitter at Amber Plaster. Tweet me your predictions.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, SamDavidsonEntertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And of course, over to our special guest one more time.
I'm Amber Coney. You can find me at Amber Coney on all social media platforms.
All right, guys, we have another special guest for next week. We'll tweet out who it is soon, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for being here, Amber.
Thank you.
This was a blast, and we will see all of you fans next week. Tweet us with your theories. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.